Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's really a beautiful day that we can come together as families, as friends of the Bruners, and as children of God to be able to celebrate the life of Fumiko Bruner today. And I feel a really joyful spirit in this room today, and I know you're all joining in your hearts and your thoughts and your prayers for her. So thank you so much for coming today. Also, we have many people joining on Zoom. So hello, everybody all around the country and the world joining in today. I do want to say that with that, we're going to take a few minutes sometimes to make sure that people on Zoom are also getting the full experience. So it might take a couple minutes before we show the video to make sure it connects to Zoom, things like that. So please have patience with us. We've never done a Zoom Seonghwa before, but we're so grateful we can celebrate with everybody here and also all around the country and the world. We're going to begin by singing two songs. These are two of Fumiko-san's favorite songs. We'll begin with New Song of Inspiration, and then we'll sing I'll Never Leave You Anymore. And if you look on the back of your program, the words are there. We don't have the words projected on the screen, but they're here, and we'll listen to the music and follow along with that. So please rise, and we will sing together. Thank you, everyone. Please join me in prayer. Most beloved Heavenly Parent, God, we greet you this morning. We've all come together from around Denver and the state and the country and the world to celebrate the life of Fumiko-san. Heavenly Parent, when we look into our hearts and we think about our memories and the times that we've shared with Fumiko-san, I know there's not one person who can think of a time when she wasn't smiling, when she wasn't joyful, because she was living her life to the fullest, and she was living her life with you, Heavenly Parent. So now as we send her to you, we know that you are also smiling, and you are also joyful, and you are welcoming her with the biggest open arms and the biggest hug and all the love that you have shared with her throughout her life, but now she can feel it to its fullest, Heavenly Parent. We thank you so much for allowing her to be with us, for all the investment that she gave for your will, for all the love that she gave to her family, and for all the joy that she shared with each person that she met, Heavenly Parent. This is not a sad day, although we will miss her. But this is a joyful day when we send her back into your arms. For you are her true parent, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much for the time that we could share. We really want to spend this time during this Seonghwa ceremony to give all of our love and our thoughts and our prayers to send her off with everything that we have, Heavenly Parent, and create the most beautiful memory of her ascension to you. Please be with us. And we offer this time, this day, this ceremony to you. And I pray this in all of our names here and in my name, Michael and Donia Hendrick, a Blessed Angel family. Adieu. All right, please take a seat. Again, thank you so much for coming, each and every one of you. It's truly a joy to be here with you. And my name is Pastor Adonia Hendrick. My husband Michael Hendrick and I are the pastors here. We'll be officiating the Seonghwa ceremony, where we celebrate the life of Fumiko Bruner and share that with David and Ruel Jin, her husband and son. At this time, I'm going to invite up my husband, Pastor Mike, to share Fumiko-san's biography and a message to help us clear our hearts and our thoughts so that we can just offer our best to Fumiko-san today. So let's please welcome up Pastor Mike.
Thank you all so much for coming today. In your program, you will find a short bio of Fumiko Bruner's life, but there's also a much more expanded version that her husband wrote after her passing, and I would encourage you all to please take the time to read that because it's quite beautiful. And I'm just going to read the short summary, and you're welcome to follow along. Fumiko was born as the only surviving child to Kyushin and Sachiko Yamamoto on June 27, 1950, in Fukuoka, Japan. Her family were rice farmers amongst the hardships of World War II. Despite sickness as a child, Fumiko worked hard in the rice fields and enjoyed basketball in junior high. While in driver's training to become a chauffeur, she was witness to and joined the Unification Church on July 7, 1976. On June 27, 1982, Fumiko traveled to the United States and was matched to David Bruner on the same day of her arrival. They were blessed in marriage 3 days later on July 1st, 1982 at Madison Square Garden, New York. Fumiko participated in various missions in Tennessee, New Jersey, and New York until David and Fumiko moved to Colorado in 1993, which was David's hometown. Fumiko quickly became known as a fantastic cook, providing meals for the Denver community, as well as attending true parents whenever they came to Colorado. After 15 years of efforts to conceive, David and Fumiko joyfully received their offering child, Ruel Jin. The family traveled to Japan several times to share their blessings and to take care of Fumiko's parents as they aged. For Fumiko and David, becoming parents has been one of their greatest joys and missions. Fumiko made many contributions to God's providence, and most recently, her couple celebrated accomplishing the Chembo registration. Fumiko passed away peacefully at home on February 9, 2021. She is survived by her husband David and her son Ruel Jin. She will always be remembered by her unquestionably joyful spirit and her radiant smile. So I just would like to share a brief message, and I'd like to start by sharing something that our founder, Reverend Moon, said about death. He said, "The word death is sacred. It is not a synonym for sadness and suffering. True parents have created the term Seonghwa, or ascension, to explain the true significance of death. The moment we enter the spirit world should be a time that we enter a world of joy and victory with the fruits born of our lives on earth. It is a time for those of us remaining on earth to send off the departed with joy. It should be a time for great celebration. We should be shedding tears of joy instead of tears of sadness. That is the way of the sacred and noble Seonghwa ceremony. The first step the spirit of the departed takes towards enjoying eternal life in attendance of God within his embrace." So, many of us have heard this concept of the Seonghwa ceremony and how it's a time of joy. But realistically, sometimes it's hard to feel joyful when someone you love and care for and have known for many years passes, especially unexpectedly. And death of any kind, at first, always seems tragic. I think we think of the opportunities missed, maybe regrets. I wish I had spent more time with that person, with her. And of course, when it's unexpected, it feels even more so. But today is really an opportunity to celebrate her life. Her life until now, and all she did and who she was. Because I know that she touched many people's lives very deeply. I think that the only complaint I ever heard as her pastor about her was maybe that she was sometimes too generous or too kind. Or how sometimes when people are always positive or always grateful, it irks us sometimes. We feel a little bit judged. I never felt irked by her, but she was really that kind of person that she, just like all of us, experienced challenges in her life, disappointments, difficulties, but never once in my experience with her did I ever see her put that on somebody else or express her frustration or disappointment. She always, every time I had a chance to interact with her, it was always with a smile. It was always with thinking of me. Every time that she would go on a trip, she would bring us back Japanese snacks. My kids loved it so much, and she really found a place in our family's hearts. Another thing that Reverend Moon said was that a Seonghwa ceremony is actually comparable to a wedding. When men and women get married, it's not a sorrowful occasion at all. It's like an insect coming out of its cocoon, getting rid of a shackle, and becoming a new body and a new existence, a new entity. So she will always be with us. I think we know that. But she is also being born into the next and final stage of her life. And I have no doubt that Fumiko-san is very close to our Heavenly Father in the spirit world. As a pastor, you never want to get that phone call. Never comes at an expected time or a good time. And with it often comes a lot of stress and practical things. But one thing that this is the third time that we've had the blessing to be able to officiate a Seonghwa. And one thing that we've really come to recognize is really, truly an honor to, even though it can be painful, it's truly an honor to be able to be a part of honoring one's life, especially a person's life like Fumiko-san. To be able to celebrate her life and all the person that she was and all the things that she did and all the ways that she affected people. The reality is that life has many ups and downs. We try to do the best that we can, oftentimes with what we have to work with. Sometimes that's not much. And there's many challenges and there's many ups and downs. I have no doubt that Bruner, Fumiko-san went through many of those things. And as we go through life, it's not always easy to maintain this spirit of gratitude, generosity, optimism at life. Sometimes we lose that innocence. We lose those things. We want to hold on to them, but life happens, right? But she was a really special person in that I never felt that she lost that. She always held on to gratitude. She always held on to generosity. She was always optimistic. Even though we know that she had challenges. So even though we feel maybe a loss, we're not going to be able to spend that time with her. We're not going to be able to laugh and joke with her. I hope that today we can truly celebrate her life and truly give her a joyful farewell and also a sincere thank you. I can't speak for you, but I know she gave me something. I can be grateful for her presence in my life. And I think all of you are here because you feel that same way as well. So that is my message. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mike. We have a slideshow presentation to share with you, a beautiful compilation of photos from Fumiko-san's life and their family, and set to music. So we're going to put that up. It might just take a minute to make sure it's connected to the live stream, but we will enjoy that in just a minute. you would think that at a Seonghwa, the slideshows would all be kind of the same, photos of somebody's life. But actually, each person, when you watch their slideshow, you learn a lot about them through the photos. And Fumiko-san's smile just radiates through all of them. There's only one photo I noticed where she wasn't smiling, and that was her 70th birthday. She just can't help herself. Even if you spend time with her right now, it's just her natural, Mike and I were saying, that's just her muscle memory. She can't do anything but smile. So thank you so much for putting that together. We have a really special time now where I'd like to welcome up David, Fumiko-san's husband, to share some words and whatever is on his heart that he would like to share with you today. So I would like us to clap. I would like us to clap and welcome up David Bruner.
Thank you, God. Thank you, true parents. Thank you, senior leaders. I'm sorry, I forgot your name already. But thank you. And you have the nicest, warmest hands. You should be a healer. And thank you all for coming. This is a surprise. Anyway, Fumiko-san was the water sign, so she flowed through so many people here I see, or touch them. Well, she always had a wonderful smile, and I think I want to propose a reason why she wasn't smiling at her 70th birthday. That day I asked her where she was going. She was going, I'm going to my 70th birthday party. And I said, what? Yeah. Am I invited? Sorry. So maybe, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a, I suppose that sounds arrogant. But anyway, I wonder that, I don't know. She always had a wonderful smile. I was going to invite anybody up who didn't have a chance to view her yesterday. I was going to invite them up to view her now, and then afterward we could take a vote on whether she's smiling now, right now. Her body is smiling. I'm not kidding. It's not me. Others see this. She is. I don't know how she did it. Well, I have to clear up an incorrect rumor that was going around about her passing. She did not fall down the stairs. The coroner's CSI did an evaluation. They decided that Uh, while I was sleeping, she was downstairs. Well, first she'd gone to the grocery store and got some strawberries and some mushrooms, and then she went downstairs to do the laundry. And one of the things that she washed was her new down coat that I gave her at the beginning of the season. And probably the first time she washed it. She tried to. It was soaking wet. She tried to hang it on the drying rack, and she realized she was in trouble. She put too much pressure on the rack, and it just collapsed, and her lovely coat went on the concrete basement floor. She tried very hard to make it across some 20 feet to the staircase to go upstairs and get some help. But at the base of the stairs, she just kind of, well, I was concerned. I didn't know for sure until a couple days ago that I was afraid she cracked her head on the way down, but apparently she just collapsed backwards. And as I was taking the trash out, I happened to look down the stairs, and I saw her legs just sprawled out, and so I went rushing down there. My thoughts were, this can't be good. When I got there, she was already cold, so I didn't think there's much we could do. I checked and checked for breath, but Rowelgen and I carried her upstairs and put blankets on her and checked her. I put a mirror to her nose, and it was just nothing. She was cold. I called Pastor Mike and I said, "What do I do?" And he said, "Well, let me check with my father, Dr. Michael." And called me back right away. He said, "Call 911, so we did. And the crew came and they did their best. Seemed to me like it was totally unnecessary. I felt she was cold. There was no hope to revive her, but they went through their process, and I'm sorry that she had to endure that. But anyway, then they called the coroner, and we finally got to see her after they put her in it was a nice white body bag. I asked them if that was her white robes. But anyway, I went out and she had tubes stuck in her mouth. I turned around and said, "Can you do something about those tubes, please?" And they said, "Well, we need it for the, they need to check with the coroner." I said, "Please." So they did, thank God. So we got to say goodbye, and then next day we started early and did our best to get her out of the coroner's place, and we got a pretty good start on it. Got her over to the mortuary. You may not know it. This is a new process. The mortuary is called the natural funeral home, I think. They're only 2 years old, and it's such a joy to deal with them. If this happened 3 years ago, I would be so upset because I know what the mortuary process is, and well, I think there's others that feel this way. Basically, there's just one process after another, greed. there's no reason for the things they do. She's not had any chemicals put in her veins, and she's fine. A little bit cold, but cold has always been her nemesis. So actually, they're really a joy to work with. It's not all the greed of the mortuary industry, and it's not here. We went for a meeting on Wednesday. I guess that was actually the day after she passed, and Dr. Michael and Hisako, her best friend, and Ruelgen and I. Oh no, Ruelgen wasn't in that one. Were you? No. Anyway, we sat around. We had to make our choices, and so Dr. Mike knew better what the process was, and he said, "Well, we'd like to have her have her greeting ceremony at the church." And the two girls there said, "Sure, we can do that." And then he asked them, "You're going to put dry ice beside her to keep her while she's here. Can we do that?" "Sure." "Can we do that?" "Sure, you can do that." And then I have this old price list. Can you use it? Rather, I'm sure you have a new one. And I was thinking, it can't be that old. The place is only 2 years old. "Sure, we can do that." They were just wonderful. So grateful to them. They had a carpenter that they work with made this casket. We had our choice of 3 different woods. The first one they offered us was diseased pine. I forgot what it's called. And I thought, I'm going to get this. If I choose this, I'm going to get to Sparrow World, and she's going to give me a hard time. "You got me a buggy wood casket?" So that was out. So I was really looking at cedar, because cedar is such a beautiful wood. It lasts longer than others, but I was concerned maybe it smells too much. But I thought it's probably the best choice. And Dr. Mike said, "Why don't you choose cedar?" I said, "Okay, yeah." So cedar it is. And then we went in. We had the opportunity to wash her body, and anoint it with oil. They prepared this stuff. This is not us. They prepared the water. They prepared our washing hands. They had a little basin they held out to us while we washed our hands. And then we washed her body, and the first oil they had it's strong smelling. I know it's a masculine oil. I'm familiar with oils because we used to make my Skin Glows skin cream back some years ago. I don't know if you're around back then, near the turn of the millennium, but we investigate that kind of oil. My Skin Glows just a natural olive oil and beeswax, and we used calendula infused oil. And then when the neem oil came across the continent, when the Indians finally India finally gave up their secrets, we started using neem oil, and we had some people that said this. We had one sister that said this is the only thing that heals my takes care of her skin problems. It's the only thing. Anyway, Fumiko and I had a good life. This is Chambo. This is different. This is not the same as when my parents passed. When my dad passed, it was a tragedy. It was a tragedy. When my mother passed, we were very close. She was associate member of the church. She loved God so much. It was a tragedy. For the next 10 years, I knew I couldn't think of her because they'd be crying and crying and crying. I'm very sensitive. I don't hide much sensitivity. Everybody, you may be wondering, I haven't really cried. I've come close to tears. I haven't cried. Reljan, thank God, had a chance to shed some good tears. Tears are good, but it's just not. I don't feel like it. It's Chambo. This is. Fumiko was called by God, and this is a joy. And it's not a time to cry. Some of you do. I called Yasuko-san, Yasuko Yu, one of her best friends, the day after, and I thought I would be announcing it, but somehow she already knew, and she didn't say very much in our conversation. She was crying the whole time. And that got me pretty close to tears, but yeah, it's not a time to cry. This is very different. Please celebrate her life, you know. Pastor Donia talked about her smile, and you know, when I first found her, she was on her back. Her face was it was oh, what's this? Oh no. It was a surprise. Her face was a surprise. I guess, you know, anyway. But you look now, and no, we didn't have our special mortuary artistic team work on her face to prepare it. She's smiling now. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at her right now. I don't know if you can get a camera on her. She's smiling, and you'll have a chance later in our get together here today to have a chance to just pass by, at least, and maybe afterward we can take a vote. But she is smiling. I don't know what happened or how she did it. You know. when we found out we were going to have a child, the coins, Joseph and Yuko, they didn't give us a real chance. I mean, they called us up 4 months before the baby was due. I said, what? 4 months? And we've got to get an adoption agent, do this, do this, do this. Okay, I guess we can do this. What happened? Well, we wanted to make sure. Yuka-san was 43 years old. They have 3 sons and a lovely, cute little daughter. And they hadn't had a child for 6 years. So out of a concern for safety, they wanted to make sure the amniocentesis was good before they called us. So we had 4 months, and Judy Harbor, you might remember her name. She's one of the senior members, one of the first people that ever joined our church in the 1960s. The 1960s. Actually, she and I don't know, somehow became good friends here. So I think it was her, it was her that recommended an adoption agency. It's the one they used for their child, which turned out to be wonderful. But it didn't work for us. Judy was much more versed in the traditional Christian theology, so I think she was much more able to work with them. It didn't work out for us, and actually 2.5 weeks before the baby was due, they said they decided that, based on their interviews and talks with us, that they didn't think we could communicate enough. There was too much of a language barrier. Of course, they don't know anything about intuition or spiritual communication. I guess they like to talk things to death, and I wish them good luck for that. Usually, my understanding, when you have a problem, talking is not the first thing you want to do. So they denied the approval. They denied our approval. So we didn't know what to do. We had less than 3 weeks before the due date. We were in Colorado. They were in New Jersey. I think it was New Jersey is a attorney-centered adoption process. They hire an attorney, and the attorneys do everything. So I think it was the attorney. She was good to us in some ways, and she suggested Ellen Levy of Adoption Choice in Colorado Springs. So, in a cold January day when it was either snowing or threatening to snow, or it just snowed, we drove our old car, which needed an alignment, 80 miles to Colorado Springs. And Ellen Levy said, sure, we can do that. And we said, oh my God, great. You know, of course it wasn't over. It was just her starting. But, what we came to find out is she is just so good. She has a reputation and communication that we didn't know this until, we didn't know until the very end, and almost the time we went to court. But if there was a problem, it took her 2 minutes on the phone, it was solved. Oh, this is Ellen Levy? Sure, we can do that. They had the answer. They knew her. They didn't. They had no argument. Yeah, so actually, we went to New Jersey, and we did the coins, and Yuko had Ruelgen, and I wasn't there. Fumiko was in the delivery room. Oh, he's out. She was just on the phone to me. Just I called to her. Oh, he's out. On the first thing she said. Yuko didn't waste any time. She was so good. So yeah, we went there, and we had the 8-day ceremony, and it went really well. 8-day ceremony, for those of you who don't know it, is a time when the baby's lineage, which has been prepared, is transferred from the birth parents. I don't know the exact details, so forgive me for that. But it's a time of transfer when he becomes an integral part of our lineage. True life, true love, and true lineage. So we brought him back. He wasn't ours yet. We still had a process. Ellen still had to test us. Ellen still had to interview us. The adoption process in Colorado it's not easy. They're very concerned. They don't want a child going to a parent who's or getting prepared to go to a parent, and then at the last minute have the parents bail, or the birth mother bail, or something like this. Or afterwards, 2 months later, the people decide they don't want to live together, or something terrible like this. They're very concerned, which is very good. But that means it's not easy. They're not cruel, but it's not easy. One of the interviews, I think Ellen came down here to visit us at our place. She said, what's your favorite? What do you like about Fumiko-san? And I thought a minute, and then, oh God, I'm not prepared for this. I'm supposed to come up with some wonderful answer, some deep, insightful thing. Last night, at the time, I couldn't think of anything. Last night, I was thinking, what was I supposed to say? What did she want to hear? What should I say? I thought this last night. Reljan is 16 years old. This was over 16 years ago. What do you like about Fumiko-san? I like her smile. I'm sorry if you didn't hear that. I said, I like her smile. She said, no, but what do you like about her? Oh God, she wants some answer. I like her smile. No. But what do you like about her? I like her smile. I didn't say that, but it's kind of how I felt. I had no answer. That was my answer. I tend to not answer from myself. I tend to answer from God. I tend to, in my days, I talk with God. I feel that God is with me. When somebody asks me a question, I can answer for myself, but usually I keep my mouth shut until God tells me something, until God tells me the answer. Last night, or I'm sorry, two days ago, we were washing and anointing and dressing Fumiko-san, and afterwards, Hisako asked we brought some makeup, and it was a really hard time to find any makeup in her makeup closet. But I finally scraped together some. I think Hisako brought some spares or something. But she said, you wanted to do some makeup? I said, look at her face. She has such color. She's not ghost white. She doesn't need makeup. This is my opinion. Hisako said, well, we should do a little something. I said, well, okay, go ahead. And so we worked, and we had a little bit of hard time, I think, because the infused oil, the lavender oil, when it goes on, it's shiny, but it gradually gets absorbed into the skin, and the skin basically becomes part of the skin. The skin becomes, I guess it must become soft. It doesn't become any warmer. It's still pretty cold. So we had a hard time getting anything to stick. But eventually we got something, and we did a little touch-up with Q-tips, where we got some lipstick on her skin and stuff, but it seemed like we were done, and Hisako wanted to put more on. I guess it's a tradition, sister's tradition. I guess from her speaking, it's more a Japanese sister thing. You want to get painted up like a clown when you go someplace. Fumiko always used to do that. She always used to put this flaming red, well, not flaming red, a little bit darker shade of red, lipstick on, and too much makeup, and where are you going? And she's going out, she's ready to go out. honey, you look like a clown. I didn't say that, but at a point, I just given up. That's what she does. I remember one time she brought home some lipstick. It was a little bit more of a neutral color, and she put it on. And oh, that's really nice. Her face, without any lipstick, is so nice. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I guess if you love someone, her natural face is the face that you really love. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe like you might like the. Anyway, I diverse. This is too much extraneous stuff, but yeah, I'm sorry. We didn't have a chance to do all the things we could do. She didn't have a chance. The last few months or recent couple of years, I think she's really been on a tear, you know. She's always going someplace, and I'm going to church, I'm going to do this, do the jumbo witnessing, you know, it's always nice to welcome her back. And we always missed her when she was gone. I guess unfortunately this time it might be she's apart from us a little bit longer, but she's already got us trained, believe me. Not that it's easy, and I don't know what we're going to do. We're spoiled. We're really spoiled. She became a really good cook. A really good cook. And no, it was not all Japanese dishes. Of course, Japanese is the best. Understand, please. Japanese is always the best in anything. They do have an incredible art. If you ever get a chance, watch NHK World on PBS. They have wonderful programs about the art and design culture of Japan. We in this bumbling world of cowboys know nothing about hundreds and hundreds of years of art that's refined. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. So anyway, she didn't cook just Japanese dishes. She did some. Ruelgen really likes Japanese food, and so he's big on tofu stuff and noodles and spicy tofu, which we don't do. But anyway, but she was very good on other, and of course I did this in her bio. Her signature dish was curry chicken. She started this back before the millennium. I think she was either jealous of my limited cooking ability, but she knew I had taste, and I had a couple things I could make good. I don't know if she took that as to follow me in that, or she was jealous in that. I think it's probably a following thing. In the beginning, she did nothing to follow me, but as the years passed, she came to realize that maybe this tall blonde American that I got stuck with knows more than he looks like he knows. And so anyway, we started out the opposite ends of the universe. Everything we did exactly opposite. Exactly. If I did something one way, she would start it the other way and do it the other way. but I don't know, over the years, we just kind of melded together. I don't have, this is Chambo. It's not just tears. It's not. I haven't hardly cried. It's not, I don't feel the need to cry. This is Chambo. I think. This is not a tragedy. This is a joy. She was taken too soon, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't know what we're going to do without her. She spoiled us so bad. You can come over and watch us sometime. Spoiled husband and spoiled brat, trying to get along, trying to figure out how to do things. We got a pantry full of stuff packages. I have no idea what they are. Her husband doesn't either. I think he might know a few. You know what? Years ago, we had to buy a zoriashi, a rice cooker, because Japanese is the best. I don't know what kind. I said, how much is it? And it was like $200. $200 for a rice cooker? How we need that? $200? Really? Okay. Then you know what? She followed me. She became an expert thrift store shopper. Do you know how many rice cookers we have now? We have 3 rice cookers. One we paid an arm and a leg for. The other 2, probably at least $5 each, and they're just the same condition. They're brand new. She became an expert thrift store shopper. Huh. You know the last thing she found for me? I wasn't going to say this, and I wasn't going to tell anybody this because it's pretty amazing. The last thing she found for me, for us. So I'm doing selling stuff on eBay. We have too much junk. I've inherited too much junk for the lovely family I work for. They decided, starting last year, they got a lot of dough for selling their brick castle, and so they're going to redecorate the house here. Instead of downsize, they're going to redecorate it, and which means it's almost down to the studs they're doing it to start over and take this old house up to the current standards of decoration. The person I work for is an interior decorator. She didn't pass any courses. You don't have to pass a course to be an interior decorator, but she is really good. And I want to testify them to the graves, the people I work for. I wasn't going to say this either. I worked for them for 21 good years. When I first started, I thought, I got the job. Then I'm working on their property in Cherry Hills Village. I'm working on their property for a family. They got 2 young daughters, and I'm working for them. And I thought, oh God, this is not a corporate culture. They don't have somebody lauding over me who's going to give me direction. And if I screw up, then they're going to forgive me and say, you should do this, or correct me and do this. This is a family, and I'm going to make some terrible blunder, and I'm going to be history in a few months. It's been 21 years. I'm sorry. Anyway, I want to testify to them because they supported us in our adoption process. Andrea Gray wrote a letter of support for us when our first adoption agency denied us. She was indignant. You should have the right to choose who you want to give your baby to. Actually, she's right. In the ideal world, I'm sure that's going to happen. Joe Coyne was indignant. You can't communicate? That's racist. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm talking about too many other things. But anyway, back to Ellen. Yeah. Anyway, we finally went to court in El Paso County, and Magistrate Hernandez, I think she's one of Ellen's lackeys who's on her payroll anyway. It was just such a joy to go to her court. Everything has been such a joy. Our lives have been such a joy. I don't think either of us have any regrets. Maybe that's why, if there was regrets, maybe there'd be more tears. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't gonna say too much. We're very grateful for the time we had to spend together. I think we'll have a chance to spend more time together. I was talking with Fumiko-san a couple nights ago, and am I taking too long? I was telling her, I know a lot about what's supposed to be happening in the spiritual world. I'm very privileged to have my young spiritual life under the guidance of Philip Burley and his lovely wife Vivian Burley. We did a lot of spiritual investigating and spiritual things and stuff. So I was talking with my wife a couple nights ago in the early hours of the morning when I couldn't sleep. When you get old, you get more wakeful, I think. So you wake up and then go back to sleep. So anyway, I was talking with her during one of these periods, and I said, because I knew you can divide your spirit in spirit world. You can, one part of your spirit can take care of your mission, God and true parents, and another part can take care of Ruelgen, and another part can take care of me, and just now I'm thinking another part can take care of Hisako-san. They loved each other so much. They love each other, excuse me. This is not past tense. They love each other so much. They're the very best friends. Yeah, if you don't know, if you saw them together, you would think they were sisters. Many people, inside and out, have confused them with sisters. They look the same, from the front, from the back, from the side, their faces, their glasses, their hair. Hisaku's a little taller, though. Fumiko didn't, she got the wrong legs. But anyway, So did I. My legs are too long. Poor Welgen, he's taller than I am. Boy, did he get the wrong pair of legs. Joe Coyne was always gravely disappointed in his children. His wife, Yuko-san, is fairly tall. Pretty tall for Japanese, I think. I think she's 5'8" or something. He was always gravely disappointed in his sons. They may not have known this. He may not have told them. I don't know if he even told Yuko-san. He always expected his sons to be taller than, one of his sons to be taller than me. He's 6'3". One of his sons to be taller. I think Rowelgen's going to challenge that. I hope so. And comfort his heart in that way. Maybe. If you don't know, Joe was called a couple of years ago. I don't know. I started out in the late 80s running to save my life, running as a way to save my life. And I got too old to run, so I always used to take long walks, and I got Fumiko-san somehow trained to take long walks. And if you can believe it, I think Joe adopted this, and he started doing it. I said, Joe, I don't know if I outright ever told him, you need to take long walks and talk with God. Talk with God. Get your mind, body working together and talk with God, and it works so well. It's my precious time. If I don't have it, I really get in trouble. I know. I start becoming a crazy person. I start getting angry and nothing works. I always have to get out and take a walk and talk with God. We kind of coined a term. It's called walking with God. Walking with God. Walking with God. I think I even misspelled it in Fumiko misspelled it in her bio yesterday. I think she forgot the L in it or something. But anyway, you understand what it means. Yeah, and I got myself in such a situation here. I come to realize I've got poisons in my body, and Beatrice Gonzalez did a reading, and she's removing those things. So I'm not so, I really can't comfortably take a good walk with God. It's so sad. Please pray for me. I want to get back on my feet and talk with God. I can't wait for the next time to get out and talk with God. I'm so grateful for Fumiko-san. She was always so grateful to me. The first words out of her mouth were always, "I'm sorry." I think I started to adopt that, or becoming a habit. Am I taking too long? Huh? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is the very end. I thought about this morning. Pastor Adonia gave a sermon on gratitude, and shortly after that, I don't know. I guess I was surfing the internet for gratitude or something. The first thing that popped up is a quote from Henry I'm sorry, Henry Winkler. Not a great priest, not a great reverend. Henry Winkler, do you remember Henry Winkler? How many people know Henry Winkler? Raise your hands. Henry Winkler. Yeah, I can't even remember the name of the show. He played some greaser, but it was one of the most watched comedy shows in America and maybe in the world. Henry Winkler. Do you know what he said? Gratitude should be a necessary nutrient for our diet. It should absolutely be necessary. We shouldn't be able to live without it. It should be a nutrient for our lives. Gratitude. So, thank you all very much for coming. Thank you so much. I'm sure you didn't come for me. I'm sure you didn't. You came from my wife. She's the water sign. I'm a stick in the mud Capricorn. Thank you again. Thank you, God. Thank you, true parents. I destroyed the microphone. What are you going to do now? Sorry. Let me fix it. In no situation, fix it. I know good standing.
Thank you again, David. I think for many of us, it's our first time to be able to hear so thoroughly from David Bruner. But I really appreciate. No, what I wanted to say is that I really appreciate you're so intimately sharing, because I think that that can help to give us peace. That's something that I learned through, if you haven't had a chance yet to read the bio that David wrote for Fumiko-san, you would think that there would be many challenges, physical health challenges, not being able to conceive for so long, but they share so much joy together because they love each other so much. And so thank you for your intimate sharing. I think that really helps to put our hearts at peace and to really appreciate your whole family. So thank you, David. We also want to give Rueljin a chance. So we'll welcome up Fumiko-san, Rueljin, to share what he would like to say.
Don't worry, I'm not going to take as long as him. I'm not going to tell you my life story for a couple hours, but I still do have some stuff to say. Sorry I'm not wearing nice clothes. She was very unorganized. Okay. Yeah, sorry I'm not wearing nice clothes. She was very unorganized. I have no idea where my nice clothes are, but, you know, I'm making do with this. My mom was a very, very nice woman. She was very, very positive, very caring. She made a lot of jokes. They weren't very funny, but, you know. Well, I didn't, so. She got on my nerves sometimes, and I know I got on hers way more, but, you know, I still appreciate everything about her, still appreciate, and I'm really grateful for all the time that I had to spend with her. I'm grateful for when she was nagging me, everything, even the things I disliked about her. Whenever I was sad or whenever I was stressed, just her presence alone would make me feel better. Sometimes it would completely cure those feelings. And now that she's gone, it's going to be a lot harder to get through them, especially as I'm growing older. It feels like much harder, and those emotions are only growing. I I could like literally want to kill someone, and then in 5 minutes, I would be an angel just by her presence. She's very, like her happiness is very, very contagious. She's like a ray of light. Yeah. She would make me feel better, even if I didn't want to. She would kind of force you to be happy. You didn't really have a choice around her. Knowing that I'll never see her smile again really hurts. But I think something that makes me feel a little bit better is that I know her spirit's still with me. She's gonna be watching over me. She'll be happy when I am. She'll be proud of me whenever I accomplish something. Sadly, her spirit can't cook. We'll probably get through that. I don't know if we will. It's pretty hard to cook. I made a sandwich yesterday. It tasted really bad. I don't think I'm gonna make a sandwich for a while again. But yeah, she was really, really caring. I know she cared a lot for me, and I'm sure she cared a lot about everyone here as well. I remember several times I had to literally ask her straight to her face. I don't know how she could give so much, she could care so much for all these people. I literally had to ask her to her face, why are you doing this? But you know, it's a very, very valuable trait. It's very sad that we lost that. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very sure she cared about everyone here a lot. And personally, she changed my life forever, and I'll never forget her. And thank you, God, for giving us this time to spend with her, even though it could have been longer. I'll cherish that forever, and I'm sure you guys won't forget her either.
Thank you, Elgin. And I feel that that's our calling now, right? Fumiko-san did everything she did. She completed everything. I think her only regret is that she's leaving these two behind. So that's our job, right? Do what we can to care for them and continue to express that love. We're going to have just one more testimony today. We'd like to invite up Hisako-san, her sister from another mother, to share something.
Okay. Thank you for coming, brothers and sisters. Also, Reverend Thompson, Mrs. Thompson. I really appreciate it because I just tell you that she told me, I'm not good. That's even I die, I don't think a lot of people not gonna come. This is, she said, I said, I'm worried about that. She said, how I ended. Anyway, you're wrong, Fumiko-san. I want to say that because always she less kind of estimate herself, you know. I don't speak good English, I'm not good healthy, you know, always, you know, she was born with a very not so strong kind of, you know, body, kind of she told me that she woke up when she was young, she woke up, always mother was watching her because she always sick. Also she lost a daughter, also son. That's why she thought my mother never sleep. You know, because she never see that mother is sleeping because she's watching when she was sleeping. Anyway, also just one thing that I just tell you that funny thing. A few days ago, actually, I went to her place, and somebody, neighbor, rushed to me. Are you okay? You know, they said, you know, I said, you know. That's why I said, yeah, I'm okay, and I'm so glad you're okay. That's why I'm sorry, you know, my friend passed away actually, and you know, this lady said she's a wonderful small Japanese lady. Maybe she didn't know, like an Oriental lady. I never see. She said everybody to hi. You know, she's a wonderful lady. And she was so friendly to all neighbor. That also one more thing I want to say that you know, recently actually our church actually Dr. Young, the morning devotion. And recently she was telling me, we talk each other. Tuesday, also she told me that she was saying that I didn't do anything this 45 years, according to his sharing, I really repented. She was so repented. And she was telling me that I really need to restore my heart to be original, I really want to love more people. Actually, you did. Because actually, that's why I want to tell you, she is such a humble, wonderful, and she doesn't know how much she loves other people. And she's a smiling person, but I don't smile, but we are best friends. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Today, such a cold and cold weather. I thank you. She will be very happy that she will see that everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hisako-san. So now we have an opportunity for each one of us to give our thanks and offer our heart and love to Fumiko-san. So we have flowers to offer at the back of the room. And so we're going to play some nice music, and we'll begin from the front rows. Can begin to go to the sides, to the back, pick a flower, and then come down the center, and we'll make space on the altar here for you to lay it for Fumiko-san, and also greet Ruel and David before returning to your seats. So don't scrunch too close to each other, but let's also not make it take too long. We have a lot of people. So let's start the music. Okay, and we can begin with David and Ruel and the Thompsons. And then the next row can go. I would also like to say that while True Mother can't be here, she is also making a calligraphy, especially for Fumiko-san as a Chumbo couple. And did not arrive for today, but it's coming, and we'll share that with all of you. So that's a special blessing. Okay, we're almost finished. But before we do, I'd like to invite Dr. Hendrick to give us our benediction prayer. And then we will have 3 cheers of Okumansei for Fumiko-san to send her off. And we have a reception prepared downstairs. And also, please don't forget to sign the guest book if you missed it on your way in. But for now, please, Dr. Hendrick.
Our dearest God, our loving Heavenly Parent, we gathered here together to honor and celebrate Fumiko Bruner. Such a kind, sweet heart. We miss her chuckle. We miss her totally selfless spirit, always giving, radiating you all the time. Father, just look how many of your children she touched. We all came here to give back a little bit. And somehow we all feel we want to give a lot more. So we have to turn to the person next to us and give it to them. And give it to whoever we can. Our true Father said that when you take the good people from us, the really good ones, it can be a blessing for the whole community as their spirit multiplies through us. Thank you so much for her letting us know her. Thank you for letting us enrich in our lives and bless us. And I pray, Father, that we can reflect on her in the coming days, weeks. Let ourselves feel her and reflect on our own lives, how we can be more like her, how we can do better ourselves. Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you for her. Thank you for everything. We want to offer our hearts together as one big family, standing around together, embracing our dear sister, Fumiko. We offer our hearts to you with a great gratitude that she always felt. And we pray together in all of our family names. Amen and adieu.
We almost missed an important part of our program in our sincerity, but a great way to finish would be with a musical offering, which our Japanese sisters, all of Fumiko-san's friends, have prepared. So are you all ready, ladies? Okay, let's welcome up our Colorado Family Church Japanese sisters.
We are going to sing a song, My Gratitude. This is a song we always sang at the Christian churches as a Japanese choir, and Fumiko-san was attending us. And then we sang this song with the missionaries from Japan, maybe 15 years ago, 18 years ago. And then please enjoy. Thank you.
I can't think of a better way to end. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Let's all rise. We're going to offer 3 cheers of Okumansei as we send off Fumiko-san back to her home, back to her eternal parent, and we'll send her with our love. We're going to your heavenly parent, Okumansei, true parents, Okumansei, and the victorious life of Fumiko Bruner, Okumansei. Are you ready? All right. Heavenly parents, Okumansei, true parents, Okumansei, and the victorious life of Fumiko Bruner, Okumansei. Thank you, everyone. So please enjoy our reception downstairs. I think we can turn on a mic if there's something you weren't able to say that you'd like to say. We can do that downstairs. Please enjoy the lunch, enjoy the fellowship, enjoy time with the family, and please sign the guest book. God bless.